That sounds great. Okay. So we have Marwan, no Jeff. No.
Did you say you were connecting?
Between the classes.
Okay. I called August 25th, 2025 Bremerton Audit Committee meeting to order. Meeting is open for the public to attend in person, or you mean listen in and view remotely. There are no opportunities for public comment except when action is anticipated. Written comments may be sent anytime to jenny.sims@bremertonwa.gov or 3456 Street, Suite 100, Bremerton, Washington, 98337. All right, we have Marwan, community member Marwan Cameron, Vice President Deborah McDaniel, and we are missing Councilor Jennifer Chamberlain and CPA Regina McDonald? Rosalind Medina, so like completely wrong.
Rosalind McDonald.
No.
Oh, Medina.
Medina. Jennifer is joining us.
Oh, that's great.
I moved her up.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Hello, family.
Hi there.
So Councilor Chamberlain is now joining us remotely. Moving on to the June 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes?
No.
Armand, Jennifer, everybody's okay with first name basis of the audit committee?
Yes.
Of course, please.
Okay, good. Okay, Marwan, Jennifer, Deborah. Nope.
Good to go.
Okay. All right. Seeing none, the meeting minutes. Seeing none, the meeting minutes are approved as presented. And next, under item 3, Auditor Jenny Sims will provide an update on the communications and outreach cost comparison.
Complete. I have a people left to interview, and Anna's going to do a review it with me to see, get her involved, and then it should be ready next meeting.
Great. That sounds wonderful. Everybody okay? Moving on to item 4, matters and announcements. Okay. So I have discussed with council, and I'm providing a brief update on whether council considers the non-resident water rates a priority project for the audit committee to consider. As you all recall, we did miss the July meeting, so this is 2 months ago. At one point, and I've sent the dates and the times, thanks to you, Jenny, of the time when council wanted to look at basically, were we getting out over our skis? Were we overextending because with the water utility, and were capital project costs being unfairly burdensome to Bremerton residents? Or were they being covered by the 150% water rate that is charged to non-residents? Am I missing anything? Okay, so the unanimous consensus of council at one point was that we should do this. And then when this was brought up most recently, there was no longer consensus. So the project is still there. And now I am asking this committee, be with you in just a second, Jennifer. I am now asking this committee, is it something that you want to proceed with? Because there you go. Yeah, Jennifer, please go ahead. Do you have video?
I do have video, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm in my car driving from here to there. And I'll be stopping shortly, but I believe that we did not have 100% consensus initially, that it was an idea that we talked about in the past. That's all.
Yeah, I sent an email with the times of the BCAT video that show that, yes, it was a unanimous consensus at one point, but no big deal. We all get a lot of
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, we all get a lot of emails. It's really easy to miss them. I feel like at some point I'm going to miss an email that promises me the publisher's clearinghouse check Did you have anything further on this one?
Oh, I don't. No.
Okay, so you do not think that that this is a project that the audit committee should take on?
Not at this time. There are things that are intriguing about it, but I don't believe it's a high priority at this point in time.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask community member Marwan. I'm gonna stop calling you community member Marwan. I'm just gonna ask Marwan. What do you think?
So I guess if you can just refresh my memory, because it has been 2 months, would is this on the current work plan? Or are we talking about moving this up in the work plan?
It was, Marwan, it was slated to be our next project under consideration.
Gotcha.
Yes, it is on the work plan.
Oh, yes, but that was a tentative placement. Go ahead.
May I suggest that maybe we just talk about the work plan overall and
Yep.
then see how it fits within the list of priorities?
Sure.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
No,
You're right.
fine.
There's parking on the work plan. Marwan, do you have a copy of the work plan?
I do not have it in front of me. Give me a minute to pull it up. Is there an email that I can be referenced to really fast to find it?
Oh.
Ah,
I
there we
don't
go.
think
All
that worked.
right.
Janet, Christine sent us all an email earlier in the week, I want to say.
Okay,
With,
that's all I needed. That'll get me there.
Yep.
So I guess just to finish my answer on that was, if it was on the work plan and that was next, in our last few meetings, we were organizing the work plan and what we thought was important. And now we are proposing to take this off the plan because council is not in agreement.
The first consensus, I believe, was either 4 or 5 members of council. And the second, that was the one that said, yes, go ahead and look at it. And the second one was also, I believe, not a full council. But yes, the second time that this was proposed, I think if there was more than me, then there were only 2, but that wanted to go ahead with it. So the audit committee can make up its mind regardless, but I'm just passing on information to you.
So
I think, I was going to say, Marwan, I think, to my view, and I think Jenny's got a great idea. Let's just review the whole work plan, because this may remain on the plan, just move down in priority, and we may choose to pick it up again later. We've got a lot of things on here that we've done that with. So there's no foul of doing that.
Okay.
yeah, I'm great with working to the work plan. I guess what I would say is just my last salvo is for folks that are kind of watching along and seeing these items on the work plan, like, okay, great. The thing that's important to me is next. And then we talk about it and then we move it somewhere else again. It's like, oh man, when are we going to get to my issue? So at some point it's like, we need to actually hit the things in the order that they're coming up in. That's my last thought on it.
Well, we thought we had done that. And then it's sort of my obligation to give you this new information. We had consensus of council and now we don't. So passing it on, and we are now reviewing the work plan. The first one, Deborah, I feel that if it has to do with parking, it's your purview. Please present the next parking item.
The parking thing, boy, we have kicked this can down the road 2 or 3 times, I want to say. And we were looking at whether a third-party vendor is performing under the terms of the contract. And I think additionally, look at whether enforcement by City of Bremerton versus a third party would be more cost effective. And I know that some of the feedback that Jenny got from a previous go on this is that, or maybe current, nobody wants to take on the responsibility of parking enforcement, no department, because it's kind of a toxic job.
Not in this city and not in any of the cities
you.
that Jenny looked at.
Yeah.
Not
so-
among the living.
Yeah, so I think it would be a great idea to explore, but I think it might be a wasted effort in the sense that we could say to the city, oh, look, we'd save $500,000 and they go, yeah, no. Jenny, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is actually a different project. This
Oh,
is
okay.
to look to see if our vendor is compliant with the contract terms. And I think that the contract is probably going through negotiation right now because I think it expires pretty soon. So
End of this year.
I'm not sure if it would be timely or not.
Well,
sometimes they don't want auditors coming in while they're trying to
Right.
negotiate. But
Well, Melinda brought the contract to council week before last. And it had gone to the consent agenda, but independently, Jeff Coughlin and I had both looked at this contract and we each had substantive questions about it. Mine was, why do we have a special enforcement zone in East Bremerton? Right, I couldn't understand that. And his had to do with finance. So it is going back through the finance committee, which I believe either has recently met or Jennifer, you have that stuff. Oh, wait, Christine.
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah, committee meets tomorrow.
It meets tomorrow. So
That's all I was gonna say. Yeah, is that maybe we
Thank
should
you.
hold on to it so that we don't, I don't know if we're gonna be breaking quorum by talking about it, but maybe not.
Well, we talked about it in the briefing, so there was whole quorum.
I mean, if
You
we
know.
talk about it, if we discuss the details of the contract, are we having some kind of rolling quorum? I know it's just you and me. And then we have finance, investment, and parking. So we're all independent of each other. You're not on that committee. I'm not on those committees. And so I just wanted to do a quick check on that. But I think we're about the details of it. Thoughts?
Well, I would like to pass on this this work plan item to the finance committee
Yeah.
chair
Okay. I'm in agreement with that.
and just say, perhaps you know, here's something that's on our work
This
plan.
is kind of up on the list.
okay, so I will say that if there's going to be modifications to the contract, you typically wouldn't audit the current contract,
Right.
Because it could be irrelevant
Okay.
because you're going to have new terms. So typically you would want the new contract, if it has new terms, to be in play for at least 6 months.
Yep.
Before the audit, and maybe
Yep.
longer, maybe a year. And then you might audit to see if they're following the.
Well, it was my understanding that there were no changes,
I
no
think you did.
significant changes to the contract.
But it sounds like there's negotiations underway because you guys had questions. So there may be.
Yeah. So far there hadn't been. We'd have to.
So I guess that would be a wait and see then maybe, or.
Well, procurement policies. Can we move on to something else?
I just wanted to say one last, I did want to say one last thing on this item
Yeah.
is that it seems like every time we get ready to do this, the contract's up for negotiation. That's my memory of the last two times it's come up, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's only the last time.
What specifically were the best practices that gave rise to this being added to the work plan?
Which one?
The word,
The
the parking.
parking.
So what's your question? What gave rise to it?
Yeah, the work plan item says like it will assess if enforcement is following best practices compared to other vendors. So,
Well, reviewing third-party contract compliance is just kind of a standard thing
Okay.
that can be looked at. You always want to make sure that your third-party contractors are doing
Okay.
the right thing.
all right. Okay, so we're just
So
putting.
I wasn't done.
I'm so sorry.
That's
I'm so
okay.
sorry, Deborah.
So because we pushed this down, let's be sure to review this again after we know if there are substantive changes coming on the contract and get it while it's still ripe for the picking,
Mhm.
if I may.
Yeah, we
Right.
have It's,
If we decide we're gonna do it. There's another
contract-
part of me that says maybe we should, if nobody's gonna wanna take the ball.
the contract renewal is in
Yeah.
January, so
Yeah.
we have ample time to think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So can I skip procurement policies for now and come back to it?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay, just because it's also tangled in parking.
I
The
guess.
procurement policy thing. Watershed forest, watershed forest management practices review. This is something we put off because we thought that it was going to be accomplished by FCS. But actually what FCS's purpose was to give input to the draft utility land management plan. The draft utility lands management plan and the extent of their input was to determine, to help determine what would be the best, what would garner the most revenue, the most net revenue, the most net profit. So this is a different thing, which is right now and for many years, City of Bremerton has been harvesting about 25 acres in the watershed forest. So, and out of that revenue, which Kemi Applebeck said in 2021, if I remember correctly, here, just whenever the Lusignan found, do you remember when the Lusignan forestry contract came up? I want to say it was 2021, but the pandemic still blurs for me, Christine. And she stated then that they figured that their annual profit from the revenue was around 150,000. And I was wondering, the reason this is on here is me, so and the rest of you guys agreeing with me. Is it still a profit of 150 grand or so if you reckon in the improvements to roads that have to be made for logging trucks, if you reckon in the temporary interns, I think you call them, summer help, who work for forestry, the substantial, I think, salary that is paid to the forester, the oversight of all of the things that come with selling 25 acres, kind of like, how it takes as long to paint a closet as it does to paint a room. All of the things that have to be done around a contract.
Is that it, 25 acres a year?
That's what we have been doing. That it's a different amount is proposed.
Well, there was different, and refresh my memory on it because they weren't about the presentation that they gave. There's an idea to harvest more to generate additional revenue. And I know that you know all about it. So can you remind us about that?
There are multiple alternatives.
Right.
Alternative one is, as always, do nothing, like don't cut at all. Alternative two is to continue what we're doing, which is to cut about 25 acres. And I believe there are 4 alternatives. Don't quote me on this, but one of them is
I think there are.
is to cut down all of the 66-year-old timber, which is roughly to the northeast of the actual reservoir itself that's formed behind Casad Dam.
I think that was the most extreme one. I kind of feel like they knew there wouldn't be buy-in for that one, right? Because
that wasn't my
Think?
that wasn't my impression.
did they really think that was going to fly with us? Did they not know how to read the room?
Consultant who zoomed in on their first presentation said, and now Mason Bruce Gerard, right? Yeah.
That sounds right.
Said that said now we come to the burning question on everyone's mind, which is how many board feet can we get? So I do think that they think of this as a source of revenue.
Revenue stream.
Yes. Yeah,
So what were the other, besides cutting all, were there incremental notches down from 60?
there must have been, and
Okay.
I'm so sorry, I don't have
Okay.
that at my fingers' ends. But going for the 66-year-old timber, which is the oldest timber in the watershed, was brought up several times and strongly recommended by Mason Bruce Gerard and our city forester, Sean Walsh, because pretty soon it will be too big for almost all sawmills. It'll have too much circumference.
Right.
Yeah. And thus the push to, do it now before that threshold is crossed. So, so here are two separate things. One is the draft utility lands management plan, which will come before council. So this watershed forest management practices review is just, okay, we're doing 25 acres a year. That's been the standard for many years. So are we really making a profit from it?
Is there actual net revenue? I hate hearing the city talk about profit. It's revenue,
Fair enough.
right? We collect taxes and we spend them. And in this case, we get revenue from something, but it's not really
You
a
are
profit.
entirely right.
Sorry,
And
thanks.
I miswrote here when I wrote net profit or loss.
Yeah, it'd be revenue.
It should be
Yeah.
revenue.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a pet peeve.
I would think it would be the profit, actually. Why would it be the revenue?
Because
Because revenue doesn't take into consideration the expenses. It's just
net revenue would,
no.
right? No,
Well,
there's gross and net.
Yeah, but the net is usually just subtract your returns and allowances or something. You
But
know?
we don't,
So a
She would know.
from an accounting
You know.
perspective, you may be right.
I
But
mean, if
we
Anna
don't
wants to
pay
know.
for this inventory, is my point.
well,
And
we do. We pay a forester to manage it,
Mm-hmm.
and we pay to. I'm sure we have expenses
Yeah.
associated with keeping the animals out, and
Yep.
I don't know all the expenses, but I know we have the forester, and we would have roads.
Sure.
Some type of depreciation probably on those, or
contract management.
I don't know
So-
what they are, but
So I guess my point is we have expenses and we can get revenue from it, but does that revenue outweigh the expenses? It's just a pet peeve of mine because government isn't run for a profit,
Well,
right?
I mean,
That's me.
shouldn't be.
well, they're
well, it shouldn't be. We are facing some pretty steep budgetary issues.
I
And
understand.
so,
Yep.
yeah, you do understand, of course.
some funds. I think we do aim for profits, like the golf course, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is that this watershed forest, that's all water utility. Any money that is made goes to the water utility. The golf course, any money they make goes to the golf course. We don't get, like, the city doesn't get a dime
benefit.
from any of the enterprise funds or any of the utilities, to my knowledge.
But the
Okay.
city props them up and we don't make anything from it. We don't get anything.
Sorry?
Doesn't the city prop up the golf course in some way?
Well,
There's
could
a loan.
there is
Go
a
ahead.
loan.
And then, so what is the
It's
city
under the
getting in
Parks
return?
Department. And there's annual maintenance of Belfair Valley Road.
Yes, there is.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get us off in the weeds of profit, loss, revenue. et
No,
cetera.
anytime a party gets dull, just bring up the golf course and you'll have plenty of convo.
That's
Not to
right.
worry. You can
That's
go
right.
on and on and on with that one.
So, but I do
Did that
think
answer
it,
your question, Marma?
It did. Can I add something else?
Yes.
Just in
We'll go right
regards
back.
to the other expenses that Anna already talked about, I've been inundated with a lot of information on water recently. And so what is that impact on the filtering of our water and the loss of that, of creating a filtering system here in Bremerton, because that is tremendously expensive. So to me, it seems like we need to keep our trees.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
here, I just really want to point this out. There's two separate things, all you guys. One is this work plan item, right? Which is just like based on the idea that we're cutting 25 acres a year. Totally separate thing, draft utility lands management plan, which is coming before council at some point. Which is looking at various alternatives of how many board feet of timber we want to extract from our watershed. And will a tipping point be, and a question that occurs to many thinking people is, will we hit a tipping point where we are then required by the Department of Health to build a filtration plant, which is what, 60 to 100 million is the last estimate I heard, will cost around 2 million a year to operate. And if it's like any other piece of public works infrastructure, will need repair at stated intervals. Is that on? So here I just want to look at this work plan thing, and then if anybody wants to talk to me later about the draft utility lands management plan, I will talk to you about it until the cows come home.
Is that what, was it Mason, Bruce, and Gerard is preparing? Or,
Yeah.
because you talked about FCS as well. Is FCS, what's
FCS did a portion of the financial for Mason, Bruce, Gerard. They were, and it was when it was first presented in Public Works Committee in 2022, if I remember right. It seemed like it was going to be they were going to be looking at this specific thing, like, was it worth it?
yeah.
Fiscally, was it worth it? Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, the questions I have are all about the watershed plan, not about this. I think this item about what's the net profit or revenue or loss if we discontinue it, and do we really make 150K on harvesting 25 acres a year?
Yeah.
Right? Does that really balance out? Is that the true revenue that we see from that after all of our other overhead?
And after this meeting, I'm happy to talk to you about draft
that's fine.
utility lands management plans.
Yep. Okay,
Which I can't say any more times, I think.
right.
Jennifer, did you have anything to pitch in on this one?
No,
you're
you mean, well, I'm no longer driving. I'm definitely parked now.
Great.
You mean about this item? Yeah, oh no, about the item for utility land management?
No, the work plan item we're looking at is the watershed forest management practices review based on.
Yeah, I think that if that one absolutely had the interest of a majority of council.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would
Great.
agree that that's one of the goals, yes, I like looking at that one. In that I'd like to investigate, as Deborah was pointing out, is it really profitable, as they say it is. Now, there's a certain component to it that I do trust and believe, which is that there does have to be harvesting, right, Anna? And so I think that that one interesting issue that you and I have explored and wondered about is laminated root rot. And is it a problem there? Because I know it's a problem in Ulen, which is adjacent to our watershed. And so I would be interested. And there was another component of the contract, which I don't know if this is proper in this committee, but there was a component of the contract that they said they would fix, which is to have the diversity of trees planted rather than the same tree planted when it's harvested. I don't know if this is the right place for that.
That's definitely a draft utility lands management plan conversation. This is, this is just looking at it year to year if we stick at 25 acres.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that and seeing if it's profitable. Thank
All
you.
right, great. Okay. Anybody else have anything more on this before I have to say draft utility lands management plan again? Stop me before I say that title again. Okay. The next one is fixed assets. PP&E, review the internal controls of fixed assets. The asset manager position is now filled, Marley Stevens.
Geez,
When did that happen?
3 months.
Christine is all knowing.
I think I've only passed Marley once, but it's pretty recent.
Okay.
But it sounds like somebody is on this.
Yeah.
It will be
This
short.
this used to be Terrell, right?
Again, you wait for someone to get their feet under them before you come out of them.
Yeah,
Terrell
yeah.
All right.
got his feet
So-
under him and left.
So we can move that one down.
It is with great pleasure that I get to announce the next item. Small and attractive assets. There's Joe about that title. Who would like to talk about this, as I do not have the expertise?
Oh, that's just the controls that are in place to protect that laptops don't walk off, or the landscaping equipment,
Or the iPads you guys use and other small and attractive assets.
Small attractive assets.
I don't know, microwaves, who knows?
Hey,
Phones.
Phones, yeah.
well, if we had them. Okay. Anybody truly excited about small and attractive assets and wants to review the updated policy and test the internal controls? Have we had a problem with this?
getting excited about something.
No.
I
No, I
have
mean,
no idea what this is, to be honest.
This is
It actually is a good,
small stuff that's easy to steal.
and that doesn't come under the radar of the state auditor's office because
Right.
it's too small, but it's attractive, you know?
Yep.
People, if they can see a way to lift something that's attractive, you know, they might do it.
Not these chairs, then.
Probably not the chairs.
I think we're safe on this.
Laptop.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that can lead to greater issues if it's left unguarded, I think. That's the least.
Have we seen any
Okay.
evidence of?
Yeah, I mean, these were larger than small, but many years ago, Public Works had a number of pieces of equipment stolen
Interesting.
by an employee
Is that what
for
they
their own landscaping business.
What
Was it
kind of
small
equipment?
just taken?
No, it was
Shovels, gloves, things like that? What kind of equipment?
No, heavy equipment,
power equipment and heavy equipment.
heavy equipment.
Yes. Okay. I'm shoot. Sorry.
I think that's when Chal Martin got gone.
I think so too. Is that?
That was
your
when the mayor
recollection?
announced a
Yeah, it's a
comprehensive
little different. Quite a bit
reorganization.
Was it? Okay, what's your recollection?
That wouldn't
Well,
be,
I'm not sure what the outcome was. I mean, other than, you know, the director lost his job, but, I think that there may have been some actions that occurred afterwards that I'm not familiar with.
Uh-huh.
But I think that, I don't think he actually stole equipment. I think he purchased equipment.
or it was Malinka had approved somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah, it was more involved than what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's all.
I mean, it was,
Yeah, I don't want to guess because
yeah.
we're in a public meeting.
If I could jump in. So part of this stems from the departments made improvements after those instances, issues. And so this would be looking at, you know, what's in place, and it would be outside the annual process that many of the departments are doing their own inventory. We would be looking at internal controls
All right.
point in time.
kind of
And
like
they
the cash count. we do with the
Exactly.
police.
And
Yeah.
just seeing, yeah, what internal controls are there? And in department to department, are there similarities, or are there some places that could be improved?
Well, I think when we initially set out on this, the department that we were going to look at didn't have a policy. And so they had to develop a policy first. So we had to wait until the policy got
Got
developed,
it.
which has been done. But there's never been interest in returning to this project. It's never been a priority again.
Well, it's got a great title. I'll give it that.
But you put on the work plan then, so you can keep reading the title. But we,
So would part of our purview be to compare different departments? Like Department A had a problem before the policy was created. We're looking at all the departments, and Department A still has a problem or an increased problem, to identify where these problems might be. Is that part of what we would be looking at or could look at?
well, when we talked about doing this, we were going to do Parks Department, which did not have a known problem. But they didn't have a policy either. So, we waited until they had their policy developed, which I know has been done. I have not seen the policy, but I was told that it's been created. If we were the department that had an issue was in Public Works. I don't know if that was really small and attractive assets. That's the problem. With heavy equipment. But, we can look at whatever the committee would like to look at.
But I mean, small and attractive is going to depend on the department, right? Like for parks, for Juneteenth this year, we were told there were no more white chairs that we would use every year. And I think there were like 25 to 60 chairs. I can't remember the number, but they weren't available this year, and no one can tell us where the chairs were. And so we had to provide our own chairs this year. So that could be small and attractive to someone else when these chairs are somewhere between $10 and $20 a piece.
Yep. Well, I like leaving this on our plan, because if we're facing continued budgetary constraints, let's find ways that make sense to get some policies in place to make our money go further. To your point, Marla.
I could also add that the city does have a unified small attractive assets policy, so that's shouldn't be a
Covers
problem.
all the
Yeah,
departments.
and it was
Right.
effective September 2022. So
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah.
what they came up with,
All right.
because that would be about the right time.
Well, I have no opinion on this other than my enjoyment of the title.
But I think you're right to keep it on the work plan. It just would be a question of priorities.
Where it goes.
Can we make the unified policy available to all the members of this committee, please?
Great, that'd be lovely.
Yeah?
And it does seem to be pretty low on the chart here. So to me, it seems like it's in the right place in comparison to other things we've covered.
Small and attractive and low on the list.
Well, I think too, I would suggest also that IT is an automatic there too, because a lot of things that cost a fair amount of money are relatively small and easy to pocket in the IT world. Stuff is getting smaller all the time.
Well,
Okay.
so the only other one is the audit, credit, transaction, and purchase order controls, which is not planned even, but it is under consideration. Do we wish to consider it at this time?
To examine the effectiveness of the central purchasing policy, especially as it relates to the biweekly checks and claims register.
I think it's exactly where it should be.
Okay. And then the cash counts, you're doing the cash counts. Good work. I really feel that you guys should have tapes or something and just leap out and go, cash count. But
So the last thing, so then the last thing was procurement policy.
all right, we are coming back to procurement policies. Okay, thank you. All right, so review city procurement policy and criteria used to determine whether the city will request bids, sole source a contract, or extend an existing contract. and this was motivated by parking contract being renewed rather than going out for proposals. Okay. So this seems like a very timely time to bring both of these items to the attention of the Finance Committee before tomorrow's meeting. What do you guys think? Sorry, what do you all?
It does to me, especially when you consider, you know, the sentence above in the parking, which is potentially assess if enforcement is following best practices compared to other vendors. If we're not even looking at other vendors because we're doing sole sourcing, then how are we supposed to know?
Yeah. Well, the only sole source that I can recall seeing is typically from Public Works. We just had one, for example, with wastewater electronic monitoring, and it was the SCANDA, if I remember right. And it was sole source because it had to match all the other things that they already had. It was the only thing that would interface with them. And that's, yeah, Public Works will be like, there's only one company that makes this strange centrifugal tool, and so we're going to go with them. But so extend.
Anna, to that point, wouldn't that also be important for departments that are purposely writing these contracts in a way that it favors one particular company? Like, we need this one thing that they have that no one else has. And it's like, well, do you really need it? And that part in your example, that was very specific, but sometimes those things can be written in a way where it's still kind of favorable, but that it wasn't necessarily necessary to have that particular item in there to make that a sole source.
Look, I think everybody on this committee has seen examples of job descriptions and contracts all across our entire working life, where they were written to elicit one bidder or one applicant. I think that's a good point. I'm very glad that we have an auditor, as I myself do not know how to determine if a sole source contract is less than imperative, right? Like, I know that for example, there's only one place that makes Ozempic, right? So there you have to be sole source if you had to have Ozempic.
But there are alternatives to Ozempic that does the same thing.
Sorry?
There are alternatives to Ozempic that does the same thing. That's my point.
I know.
Yeah,
okay. So this seems like something that would be interesting. Jennifer, are you trying to get in here?
Well, okay. So I think what's interesting, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I think what's interesting about this is, just as Marwan's discussing, and what we've talked about with the red light camera, you know, like we've got a new red light camera company. Like, I would be interested in finding out what are the alternatives for MPark. I don't know. Didn't we used to have a different company like 15, 20 years ago besides MPark? Because I don't think the city was doing this. I'm trying to remember.
We had Diamond, which was run by the guy who owns the Diamond lots.
So I would be interested in seeing alternatives. I don't know what that means. I don't know what Diamond lots are. What do you mean?
The Diamond parking lots. There's one gentleman who owns a number of parking lots, and they're all called the Diamond parking lots.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Downtown, yeah.
That gentleman was running the parking.
Bob Dupree.
Okay, so maybe a conflict of interest, or maybe it was just a second business for him.
Yeah, think.
It certainly would seem that, yes, it would be a conflict of interest. Yes.
Fair. And so I would be interested to find out if there are other companies. And I think that what's difficult, in the same way that the red light camera, is different, is the other company going to cover, one of the costs of this is, are they going to cover the infrastructure costs, right? Like, moving over to the new red light camera program, I believe they are paying for the equipment changeover. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. but
I can't
that's
say.
I can't remember, but I believe that they are covering the cost of the equipment changeover. We still are renting equipment from them, but there are costs associated with changing it over, or there's money. I need to be refreshed. So that's what I'm saying is what would be the cost of an infrastructure change, and what are the other competitors out there?
Well, this seemed, okay, so far,
I would also
go, Deborah.
add regarding the water filtration centrifugal thing.
Mm.
If there's only one manufacturer, does that put our system at risk if they have a catastrophic failure at their manufacturing,
Amen.
or they go out of business? And, you know, what are the risks inherent with sole source? And especially on something as critical to our infrastructure as water. I get that, you know, our system was designed a number of years ago and we need this thing and that's the only one available. But I would wonder if there can be things in our policies that say, where possible, don't design this so that we're dependent only on one source.
In general, what I have seen when I was still on Public Works Committee is that there used to be, you know, the tendency for monopolies to occur
Yes.
has been getting stronger and stronger, so that
I don't know that we can have
I'm
an
almost done,
effect on
Jennifer.
that.
I'm almost done, Jennifer. So
Sure.
that where there used to be multiple sources,
Right.
now there's just one. Yeah, please go ahead, Jennifer.
Exactly what you're saying. I don't think that we can really combat that because that's kind of the way of the world right now, unfortunately.
Yep.
But I think it's still a really good point. It's not true for everything.
Might not be a bad policy, and it may simply be that it was considered and not possible. Fine, at least
I love
we
it.
go with our eyes open
Yeah,
to that possibility, to that risk.
okay.
There's so
Thanks.
many things that are proprietary, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so it would be, yeah, I
Yeah,
like it.
I get
Thank
it.
you for that.
Get it?
All right,
Thank
so. Oh, yeah.
Can I jump in just
Yeah.
right before
Go
you
ahead,
finish?
please.
I know I kept focusing on sole proprietor, but you know, I think there's also a challenge with sole source. Apologies. Challenges with just a couple of businesses that meet the requirements, and taking a look at that. So when the contract goes out and it's the same usual suspects that get in there. This time it's company A, this time it's company B, and then over time it's like, well, you know, we've got a great relationship with these folks, so we don't even want to look anywhere else anyway. So we're just going to keep writing it favorably to them. And then how do we ever get
That
changed
never happened.
if we don't try to diversify and say, hey, what else is out there? Because we're just so happy with what we got, and it's great. You know, our partners are fantastic, but that's also a concern where these things get entrenched, and it seems like the audit committee has an opportunity to kind of break that fever that Jennifer was talking about of it being the way of the world right now.
Yeah, and it also keeps them hungry. One that just sprung to mind is parametrics. They seem to be our sole consulting source for a lot of public works type stuff.
SCJ, yeah.
Yeah,
We have
anyway.
a number of usual suspects.
Yeah, so yeah, it could extend to that kind of thing.
All right. Well, so I'm pretty excited that there's more excitement about this than I had expected.
I don't know, I wouldn't call it excitement.
So here's my proposal to this committee, which is that both third-party contract compliance, excuse me, and procurement policies. Well, actually, do we want to send procurement policies to the finance committee? Why? But the third-party contract compliance, I think it'd be good to give them a heads up that we're thinking about activating this work plan item. Does that make sense to you all?
Well, and I think why it's appropriate for finance, the procurement, is that, you know, you're going to have, I mean, we can also have Mike Riley and, I mean, you know, Melinda there, but they know the rules on the procurement and they're always at it's there. You know what I mean? Like I understand why that might want to go there because the rules of procurement are so well known to that committee.
Yeah. And, you
Yeah,
know,
I would be asking them about the timing on that one is, really-
Mhm.
that's the question, right?
I'm waiting for you to finish.
The timing of the project, that's the question
Oh,
we have for
the
them.
parking the
for the-
parking contract?
okay, all right.
Is that what you see the question being, or what?
For
you
the
would be
third
talking-
party contract, yeah, but
For procurement policies, do you want, does this committee wish to send that one to finance? Did I hear that? Or
Well,
was that just my Pam's bad dream?
Well, I would think first of all is, you would only ask finance about the timing on the
Yeah.
third-party contract compliance if you're thinking of making it the next project, and I don't know if you are.
Right.
That would be perhaps the first thing that you want to talk about is, what your priority is. And if that one is the priority, then we would want to check and make sure that it fits with, what they feel is good timing. If you want,
Yeah, Jennifer, please go.
I'm getting the sense that this isn't the highest priority. I'm getting the sense that as a body and also in alignment with council that a high priority is the watershed, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I think the
I know.
procurement policies is,
I think, in my view, watershed trumps procurement, but they're both up there, and I think it would
What's
be
the
nice
quick-
to, it would be nice to put them on, I mean, they're both planned, they're all three planned, but if resident water rates isn't happening, what takes its place as the next project that we want Jenny to work on?
well, it seems to be between procurement policies and watershed forest management practices review. Is that everyone else's take on the discussion that we've been having here?
yeah, and
Sure.
I would ask if documentation that you've referenced, if there's anything that you're still waiting for on the watershed review, or is the information out there and it's ready to be looked at? It's, you know what I mean? Was it
You want me
Mason,
to say
Bruce,
that long
and
thing?
Mason, Bruce,
Mason
and
Bruce Gerard.
Yeah, are they getting ready to produce some type of a report or anything, or it's already out there and?
They have finished the report and it's included in the draft utility land management plan. Soon we'll all be able to sing it together.
And it's in draft.
It is. It's coming before council. It's
Okay, so
It's been up for public review for some time. It's coming before council soon.
okay,
So you could certainly look at it in draft form.
yeah.
In your idle hours.
So but when we do the work, we want it in the final.
And it probably would be.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
if that's forthcoming in short order, then that's great.
The-
That can definitely.
Their report is done. And one of the elements of it is presenting to council for, because I'm pretty sure Jennifer is right, for alternatives for the amount of what I would call the amount of clear-cut mature forest and what a forester would call sustainable harvest. We would differ on this. So, but the information, I believe, is all there. It's just which of these do we want to pick?
If I could add that particular project, the utility lands management plan,
The draft utility.
yeah, that folds into an actual council goal, which is under parks and environmental stewardship. So I usually just throw that out there, that if it's aligning with the council
Exactly.
goal, kind of elevates it.
It sure does.
It does.
Yeah.
I was glad that the counselor who nominated that for the goals and priorities.
And I would also kind of, I mean, which one is, I don't know, easiest to tackle might be how we would want to prioritize it too. Is that,
Well-
am I throwing a wrench in this?
No, neither of them has an estimated duration. So that's a really valid thing. It's like, do you have a feel for this, Jenny?
I think that the watershed sounds more direct. I thought there was a lot of things talked about in procurement policies. I'm not sure that it's been well defined, but I think that the watershed would be faster.
Okay.
I like the watershed.
I like the watershed.
Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna watershed it up. Please put that in the minutes.
And then I'll just ask everyone to look again at the description and objective in that second column, make sure that that is the focus of my review. Or if you want to modify that or add to it.
What if?
Can we modify it?
Yeah,
And my language isn't going to be great here, but it was what Jennifer was referring to and Anna touched on. Is what is that that point of harvesting versus hurting the watershed?
Well,
What?
I think that's debatable, right, Anna? I think that the consultants have a different perspective than, I don't know. That's the thing is we don't, yeah. Go ahead, Anna. I'm sorry. I know you
Foresters consider cutting all the 66-year-old timber to be sustainable, right?
they consider that, if you'll remember, they were backed up by Water Division Manager Cami Applebeck, who stated that as long as a 250-foot buffer was retained on that very steep slope, they would be complying with the Forest Practices Act.
I'm not confident that it was all of the older growth. I think that there was a large swath that they were proposing could be included. But either way,
But here
It
we're
was
just
fine.
looking at this, we're not looking at the plan that I'm not gonna say any more times. But here we're just looking at
Revenue.
the profit of 25, of cutting 25 acres. Is it worth it? We have to strengthen roads for heavier weights than emergency crews. Is it worth it when we are paying a forester a substantial 6-figure salary? Is it worth it when we're also paying a summer intern to do that same, to assist in that same work? Is it worth it when we have like somebody overseeing the contract with Lusignan Forestry, who is the broker who sells the timber?
Yep.
Somebody has to, I hope, watch the trucks and make sure that only as many board feet, that no excess timber is cut down. So in the light of all of that, sometimes it is less expensive to simply do nothing and let the forest take care of itself. For example, Jennifer and Marwan, we spend a chunk of money on noxious weeds removal. Well, the noxious weeds we are removing are Scots broom. And the reason we have Scots broom is that we have clear cut. You do not, I have done a lot of work in heavy forests in 3 states, and I've never seen Scots broom in deep forest, ever.
Yeah, it shows up in disturbed land like horsetail.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So given all of these costs that are directly associated with the clear cutting, is it really, are we making an actual profit? Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So Marwan, to answer your question, I think that I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm an accountant. So my expertise is the profits of the operation, and it wouldn't be, is it good practice to cut 66-year-old timber? That's not my area of expertise. I'm not a forester.
No, I understand that, but from a number standpoint, the numbers that Anna was pushing out there for building a filtration unit was what, at the cost of $2 million a year, and
That's not this work plan item.
Yeah, that's not
the
this
draft.
item. That's related to the land management practices.
The draft utility lands management plan.
And that's a worst case scenario thing. You know what I mean? They're not proposing that to be included. What they're saying is we can maintain our unfiltered status even if we harvest all this, wood. So
Right.
I
Even with
believe,
our projected
go ahead.
human growth over the next till 2020,
I
by
mean,
20,
they're allowing
35?
some building near the watershed. So I feel like it's important to figure out how we're going to tackle this issue in audit, because Jenny Sims is very wise in saying, I'm not a forester. I have no way to calculate, what that tipping point is. So we need to figure out how to articulate our goal here to be smart and specific. I personally trust that a certain amount of harvesting is profitable and okay to do. And I know Anna will disagree on that. Let the forest do what it's supposed to do. I'm curious to find out where that threshold is, because I think that the large quantities they're proposing are not appropriate. It's one of the alternatives.
I really,
So then-
really,
One last thing, and I'll let it-
hang on. I'm going to be the chair for like 20 seconds here. We are not looking at a proposal to clear cut the 66-year-old forest. We're not looking at that. That's something that we're going to look at in September or October or November. Right
Okay.
here in audit committee, we're just looking at something that we've been doing year after year after year, which is clear cutting 25 acres in the watershed forest. And are we actually making a profit from that when you add in all the ancillary costs? It's as if you were setting up a lemonade stand and somebody gave you all the lemons and they gave you all the sugar and you made 25 cents. Well, you wouldn't be making anything if you had to go out and buy that lemonade and that sugar. Is that making sense?
So it does, and I'm good with that.
Okay.
I guess my last point on this is when you're having a conversation with different bodies, great questions come up. So where do these questions need to go? Because these answers still need to be answered, or these questions still need to be answered.
Did you comment on
The draft
utility
management.
land?
Management.
What was the name of that document again?
Did you comment on that?
No, the point that I'm
No,
making is this
I'm telling you
discussion here.
Where to talk about it? Did you comment on the plan? Because the comment.
That's my point. That's how I've led this part of my discussion
All right.
is in these bodies of conversation, good questions come up. This wasn't a question for me before. It's a question now. I think it's important. I think there are others of us that think it's important. So where does that go if not here? And how do we get that to the right place? Whether it's watershed or, parking or whatever it is that we're talking about. Great questions come up that aren't our purview. Is there a mechanism that we can get these questions to the right people?
Yes,
And what is that?
Council is going to get presented this plan that I refuse to say any more times. I hope that's okay. Sometime in September or possibly October. Keep an eye on the packet. Keep an eye on the agenda.
So raise awareness in the community.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to speak up on.
And remember, remember that council rarely gets more than 3 or 4 emails on any agenda item. Is that accurate, Christine? Rarely.
I do want to add,
Really?
before you go further, that there was a public survey that closed at the end of July.
Yeah,
So there was that on the draft before it even comes to council.
yeah. That's what I was asking is like, did you comment on the
Utility land.
plan? Okay, we're all just gonna be saying this all night long.
So,
Thank you. Give me
Hey, so
another-
can you reiterate? So what we're looking at specifically, I want to ensure that the term clear cut is actually the correct term for the 25 acres a year. So are we specifically trying to analyze the profitability of 25 acres a year? Or are we also looking at the profitability of the other alternatives brought forward by Mason Gerard, whatever they are? Gerard
The
Mason.
answer is A, not B.
so my understanding based on what you've said is that I'm looking at the historical profits, like
Yeah.
the past 5 years or 3 years or whatever it is that makes sense.
Back to about 2010, I think that's when they
Okay,
kind of
great.
hit a level of
Okay, I
25
love
acres.
that. That's very concrete for me. I understand that, and I support that. Yes.
And in the meantime, sorry, what I was going to say is not germane to the audit committee, so I'm going to stop. Okay, we have a plan. Our next item on the work plan is the watershed forest management practices review. We have a meta question from community member Marwan, which is when do we talk about the big issues? When do we focus on what's not the contract in front of us or the agenda item in front of us? And I think that's a really interesting question, and I think it's outside the purview of the audit committee. What do you guys think? To like talk about the big picture about.
I think Marwan's question is well placed.
Yeah.
I don't know that and I can only speak for you, Marwan, that's what my likes to say. I don't know that he was saying it's audit committee's job to speak to that,
Okay.
but where do we go?
Yeah.
Where does the community at large, and he and I represent that community, where do we as the community go for answers to these bigger questions?
Well, I have town halls.
Yeah.
Councilor Reblowski has town halls. There's always public recognition and there's always email.
And I think
that's all I got.
So I think, those are good places to start. And certainly I know from my past activism, showing up at city council meetings and saying your piece there, and if you haven't gotten answers, the kind of answers that are satisfactory, that's a great place to take that, to me.
I'm just smiling at you in admiration.
I don't know who this counselor is. Marwan.
Jane.
Jane, yeah.
Oh, we lost Marwan. We had Marwan.
I'm still here.
Okay, yay.
It says that you are talking. There, you're back.
There it is.
I'm talking.
Back.
All right. So,
Oh, my camera's not on? You can't hear me? That's
No,
weird.
no,
Yeah,
we
we can.
your
Oh,
camera went off.
Your
but we could
visuals
hear
went
you.
away. Yeah.
Now you're back.
gotcha. Okay. I'm back.
Okay, so does anybody wish to review the work plan any further tonight?
Can we spend another hour on it, please? I don't feel like I'm fully abreast of it, and since I'm not looking at it, I would like you to read it to me, please.
Define we, Jennifer.
I'm
All
so
in
sorry.
favor?
I just can't.
Breaking up? Am I breaking up?
Yes, yes.
The only thing we can hear is draft utility land management plan.
Good God. Oh, thank you
Okay.
very much for the discussion, everybody. I like where we're going. I appreciate the conversation.
Yes. Okay, so we have completed agenda item 4A. We are now on to agenda item 4B. A reminder, in early summer, there will be an announcement posted on the city's website and an email sent out regarding a resident position recruitment. Interviews and selection will be done before the holidays. This was done for your position earlier this year, Deborah. And so now this is being done for your position, Marwan. So if you want to renew, you gotta apply.
I don't know that he does have to apply.
Really?
Does
We
he?
just use the
Oh,
old
okay,
application?
He does.
I
Okay.
think so.
You do-
I didn't have to
you do
reapply
need to
for it.
reapply.
All right.
And it's pretty simple. I mean, you just say, I'm interested in retaining this position.
That doesn't seem like much of a burden.
I hope he does. I hope he actually comes back. Jeez.
I hope you want to come back too, Marwan.
Oh, I learned a lot,
Um,
and the community does as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so item 4C. I'm gonna do the next audit committee chair report to city council day after tomorrow, August 27th, during the study session. The next audit committee meeting will be on Monday, September 22nd at 5 p.m. Will anyone be absent? I am gonna, the only thing is,
Yeah, let me look at my calendar.
I gotta get out of here before there's a Rosh Hashanah, but other than that, I'm good.
I'm
good.
open.
All right,
Yay.
then,
We're adjourned.
with the consent of this committee,
Yes.
this meeting is adjourned.
Fantastic. Good night, all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
We had a brief. Yeah.